Assalamu alaikum dear viewers. I hope you are doing well. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important topic, that is Plato. And this particular topic we usually study in the main subject or main topic, that is a theory before theory. If you didn't watch this particular video that is about theory before theory, just watch it because it is going to help you out to understand the difference between theory before theory and literary theory. Okay. So when we talk about Plato was a Greek philosopher, and he has done a lot of work on the analyzation and interpretation of literature. And if we talk about the timeline of Plato, it was from 428 to 348 before Jesus Christ time, right? So now we are going to discuss one of the most important work of Plato in the whole lecture, that is the Republic. Republic is one of the most noble philosophical work of Plato, where he discussed about the ideal state. And he just talked about that if we want to have a state where there is justice, then we have to work on some particular things. So we are going to discuss all the particular concepts that are important to develop an ideal state. We are going to discuss in that particular lecture, the Republic. So before understanding that particular topic, justice as harmony, we have to focus on another particular subject, that is the concept of classes, or three classes within the state. According to Plato, there are three classes within a state. One is the rulers, and second one is the auxiliaries, those to whom we call as warriors, and militant or the military group, and the third one is producers, farmers or artisans. According to him, these three classes they are actually exist in a particular state. And you know we have to understand one of the most important concept, that is the three parts of soul. According to him, that he said that the human beings, they are having three, and all the human beings are having three types of three parts of soul. One, mostly people, or some people are having the soul of reason, though they are those people who are having wisdom and the power to rule the whole state with justice. And the second soul he talked about is the soul of spirit. According to him, the people who are having that particular spirit, they have that that power to and courage to protect their country or state. And then he talked about the third soul, that was appetite. He said that those people are having hunger, but they have that particular capability to you know develop or fulfill the material needs and desires of the state. According to him, this particular point is very important. I would like you to understand quite better way. According to him, every person has a particular soul. For example, maybe there is a person who is having a soul of reason. There are some people who are having a soul of spirit, and there are some people who are having a soul of appetite. According to him, a just state will be established, or a just society will be established when every single person will perform a role within a state according to their souls. For example, if there is a person who is having a soul of reason, that person should be the ruler of the state. On the other hand, if there is a person who is having the soul of spirit, that person should be the warrior, because that person has enough courage to protect the whole state. They are capable enough to sacrifice their own lives. And the third soul he talked about was the people who are having appetite. And according to him, those people should be the farmers or artisans of society, and they should be responsible to fulfill the material needs and desires of the state. So So when I talked, therefore I discussed this particular point first, and then I am going to focus on the second concept, that is justice and harmony. According to him, when each particular soul is going to perform its particular, respective proper function, then a just society is going to be established, and every person is going to fulfill their roles and perform their functions, that is going to help the state to grow, and it will help the state to develop a harmonious system. And let's discuss all these points that are written in the notes as well. In the Republic, Plato defines justice as harmony and balance. So according to him, justice is not just about laws, for example, laws that are applicable within a court, but according to him, a justice according to him, justice exists when each class in society performs its proper role. For example, if there is a particular person who is a warrior, he has a responsibility to protect the state, so that person should perform this particular role efficiently and responsibly. At the same time, he talked about another part, that each part of soul performs its proper function. And then the third point, in order to understand, reason rules our spirit and appetite. What does that mean? According to him, those people who are having reason should be the rulers, or the guardians of the state, and those people are going to rule both spirit and appetite. Who are the spirit people? Who are those people who are having spirit would be the warriors, and those who are having appetite would be the farmers. So according to him, those people who are going to have the reason, that person has enough power, and that person should rule our spirit and appetite, because that person is having enough knowledge of the word, and he should be the ruler. Then we are going to talk about these are all the philosophical concepts that Plato has given in his book, and we're going to talk about all these concepts one by one, and they are very important as well. Then he gave the concept of philosopher kings. Before understanding who is a philosopher king and which thing that actually make him distinguishable among the other people, in order to understand him, or in order to understand the philosopher king, we must need to understand that particular concept, that is a theory of forms. So according to him, there are two kinds of reality. One is the physical reality, and one is the abstract reality. Physical reality is the one, for example, the word that we can feel or see with our senses. Through five senses we can interact with that particular reality or the word. That word is a physical word, but there's another word that actually exists, but that is not physical, that can't be sensed, that we can't sense with our five senses. This particular word is known as the word of forms. And what is the concept, or what is definition of forms? It's just ideas, because I still remember when the teacher was teaching us the concept of forms, I was like, and then she talked about that forms are ideas. I was like, okay, that if forms are the ideas, then every single person are having different kind of idea about a particular thing. Then how these particular forms could be eternal, unchanging, and perfect? While studying, this particular question came to my mind. So I want you to understand this particular concept in a quite interesting way. For example, when I talk about a particular diagram of triangle, all of us know that if there is a particular shape who is having three lines, and these three having three sides and three lines are going to join together on a common point and is having three angles, that particular shape is a triangle, right? This So in order to make a triangle, there are some particular features that are associated with the with that particular shape of triangle. So in the same way, that particular features are present in our mind. These ideas are already exist in our mind, or in the word that he called the eternal word, or the abstract word. So when we are going to draw a triangle on a particular page, maybe this triangle look like to the exact triangle that actually exists in the eternal word, or the word of forms, but that particular triangle the is going to be the copy of that triangle, right? So according to him, the world that we can observe or see with our five senses, this is a physical world. And according to him, the physical world is changeable and imperfect. But the word that is already, but the forms are eternal, unchanging, and perfect. For example, if we say that a triangle has three sides and triangle has three angles, these particular features of triangle are eternal, unchanging, perfect. We're not going to say that if if we're going to draw a particular shape that is having four sides and we say this is triangle. No, some particular features are associated with the triangle that are unchanging and perfect. We can never change. We can never say that a triangle can have four sides. Every triangle has three sides. Every triangle has three angles. In the same way, this particular concept of triangle is known as form. And according to Plato, this particular and the particular concept of triangle actually exists in the world of forms, and and the triangle that we actually make in our physical world is imperfect and changeable, right? And another example that is given is many beautiful things exist, but beauty itself, the form of beauty, is perfect and eternal. For example, when we talk about beauty, we always know that every particular culture or every particular okay, if we talk about the example of a good person, right? Who is a good person? We always associate some particular attributes with the goodness of a particular person. For example, that person may be very honest, genuine, and knows how to talk, respectful, and a good listener, whatsoever. We always associate some particular attributes to that particular person. So right, in this particular word, and that is the physical word, maybe a good person is having these attributes, maybe imperfect, but the idea of goodness that we is eternal, is unchanging and perfect, right? That is the word of forms. Now let's come to the particular concept of philosopher kings. I hope so you are understanding it. Who are the philosopher kings? Philosopher kings, normally in our daily life conversation, we say don't be a philosopher. Someone who knows what is right, what is wrong, who is telling you don't do this, don't do that. Sometimes I still remember mostly when we're going to have some conversation with friends, and when we start say don't do this doesn't look good, and the friends say अपनी philosophy में मत झाड़ो, यहीं पर रुक जाओ. So the thing is that according to Plato, ideal state must be ruled by philosophers, those people who possess the knowledge of the forms, especially the form of the good. That person who knows what is right, what is wrong. The person who seeks truth rather than power or wealth, that person should be the king of an ideal state. Because when a person who understands the true reality, that person is a wiser person. And when that person will become the will rule the state, he will try his best to, you know, rule with justice and honesty, because he already know what is right and what is wrong. So according to him, a philosopher should be the king of the ideal state. Now let's move to the other concept, or the philosophical idea of Plato. That is the allegory of the cave. All of you are familiar with this, with the word of allegory. What is an allegory? Allegory is a particular literary device that we use in a particular story that help us to understand a story in a quite deeper way, right? It doesn't mean something at a surface level. It goes beyond the structure or the meaning of a sentence. It always gives us a moral lesson or something like that. In the same way, when we talk about the allegory of the cave, here the cave doesn't mean a ghar. It goes beyond. It is going to tell a story that is going to help us understand something beyond the just the story or the sentences. For example, what was that story of the cave? They were it is a famous story that there were some prisoners that who actually live in a cave, and they can only see their shadows, and they believe that all those shadows are their reality. But one day, one prisoner escaped that cave, and he actually see the real world outside. Because and then when he returns, he tells the people that I have seen something really interesting, a bright world where there is a sun and a bright. He talked about that there is a light there, and this world is very beautiful, something like that. But those people, other prisoners, didn't believe him. They rejected him, and finally they killed him. So this is a particular story. But when we talk about allegory, it means that we have to this particular story has some deeper meaning. It is going to help us understand something beyond the surface level word, the structures. For example, when we say meaning, so here the shadow, it is going into it is going to tell us about the sensory world. For example, all these shadows was the physical world. According to Plato, the physical world is a copy of the world of forms. The outside world, the prisoner who actually came out of the cave and saw the outside world, that outside world was the world of forms. And that particular person who started thinking that this world is different from the world we are living, that person is a philosopher, and he was the enlightened person. So basically it was a journey from ignorance to knowledge. But the prisoners who were ignorant people, they didn't listen to that particular enlightened person, and finally they rejected the knowledge. That was an allegory of that was the particular philosophical idea of Plato in the allegory of the cave. Then there is another concept, that is education and censorship. According to him, those people who are the guardians, who are going to be the guardians? Guardians are the rulers who rule the state. And he proposed a very strict educational system for the guardians. You can find it out from the Google, the educational system for the guardians. According to the Plato's philosophy, you would get a complete knowledge or detail on it of it. Okay. According to him, the guardians must be trained in philosophy, mathematics, and physical discipline, and those people must have moral development. But this particular concept is really important. I would like you to understand it because you are going to study it everywhere. It is very famous, philosophical idea, or the critique of Plato on the art. According to him, that according to Plato, the physical world is the copy of of the world of forms. And then when an artisan or a poet is going to write about the world around him, or is going to paint or draw something of the physical world, he is going to make a copy of the world of forms. Copy of copy, right? According to him, art is beyond the reality. Art is imitation, it is mimesis, because art is the copy of physical world. Physical world is the copy of the world of forms that is eternal and perfect. At the same time, according to him, as art appeals to emotions rather than reason, that's why it has the power to disrupt the moral development of a particular person. As rulers who are the one who are having reason, that's why art should not be studied by the guardians, or it should not be it should not be studied at all. According to him, it should be censored. That was the concept of, or the we can say, the philosophical critique of Plato on the art. Now there is another important concept, that is community of wives and children. According to Plato, as he was focusing more on the ideal state, and he wanted to develop a state where justice should be given priority and there should be a just society as well. So that's why he said that if the guardian or the ruler who is going to rule the state, he should not have any private property and private families, because this would prevent him from greed and personal ambition. So this will ensure loyalty to the state, not to family interest. So these are the that is the particular concept of Plato, that the rulers should not get married, they should not have private life or the private property. They should do everything that is going to be beneficial for the well-being or the progress of the state, right? Then he gave the theory of mimesis. It is also the same. Plato, that we have already studied, that in the censorship of art. According to him, art is a copy of a copy. It is third-hand representation, because reality, physical object, and artistic imitation. Reality is the world of forms, physical object, that is the physical word, and then the artistic imitation, the art itself. It is a copy of reality. Therefore, according to him, art is beyond the reality, and art appeals to emotion, it can mislead the people. That's why it should be censored, should not be studied or taught. So in conclusion, we can say that according to Plato, a just life ruled by reason, or we can say that a state should be ruled by those people who are having reason, right? And they are going to be the guardians of the state, and this life is going to be the happiest one. But the tyrannical life ruled by uncontrolled desire, the most miserable. According to him, uncontrolled desire mean, for example, if you are going to give an opportunity to those people who are having hunger or appetite, if you are going to make those people the ruler of the state, they won't be able to develop a just state or society, and in the result we would have a miserable life. That's why I really love this particular line, that true happiness comes from inner harmony, not from power or from wealth. So that was the whole concept of the republic That was a philosophical ideas of Plato, that how should be the state, how should be a ideal state ruled, and who should rule it. And he has given the concept of theory of mimesis, word of forms, and all those concepts are important, and they are going to focus more on an ideal state or development of an ideal state, like how a person who is having who is a person who is having reason should rule the whole state. That's all for today's lecture. I hope you did enjoy it and actually understand that and the theory of Plato, different theories of Plato and his concepts. Thank you so much, and I love this.